Molly, good afternoon.
Yes, how are you?
I'm sorry.
Yes, Dilan. So I'm just telling maybe we can start the session now. So everybody will join it later on, but we can start as of now.
Okay. So that sounds good, Molly. Or do you want to wait for another 2 minutes? I don't
It's
know. You
fine.
suggest.
It's fine. We can proceed.
It's fine because yeah, we have a lot of attendees already waiting for us, no?
That's what. So please start it. You can
Yeah.
share your
Okay.
screen and we can have the session, at the end of the presentation.
Okay. That sounds good. Okay.
Yeah,
And better than the end of the session, even if anyone has any questions in between, I would recommend you can put forward your questions because let's interact and make it a more interactive session. So even if you have any questions in between, please let us know and we will address it.
definitely. Or even you can write in the chat box as well, whatever you find the convenient.
Yes, yes, yes. That sounds good. So give me a second. Let me just share my screen.
Sure.
So what we'll do today is we'll go through the products that are offered at GISMA University of Applied Sciences, and I will take you through the requirements also in terms of academic requirements, English requirements, what all intakes we have, and everything. Okay, because that's one of the most important parts where we need to focus right now,
Yes,
and
yes.
this is what will help us while counseling also. Yes.
Yeah. Mainly about the program requirements, the eligibility, deposits, and all.
Yes, yes, yes. Because I'm sure everybody knows about Germany, and it
Right.
will become very redundant if I keep speaking the same thing.
Right.
Yeah.
We can
Yeah.
definitely
Okay.
directly focus on GISMA.
Yes, 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 Vimali. And okay, so is my screen visible to everybody?
It's visible.
Okay. So greetings for the day. My name is Dylan. I represent GISMA, which is a state registered university. So from GISMA Business School, now we are rebranding and we are GISMA University of Applied Sciences. So in the next 1 month, you'll come to know the changes because our entire website, the logos, everything is going to change. So Business School and GISMA US were two separate entities where we used to run only language programs under Business School, and under GISMA University of Applied Sciences, we had all our academic programs. So we have the University of Applied Sciences tag from a long time, but now it's going to be rebranded and we're only going to promote GISMA University of Applied Sciences. So GISMA University of Applied Sciences is a state registered and a state accredited university in Germany. So we are registered in the state of Brandenburg, and all the degrees that are awarded are purely German degrees and are registered on the state over there. So these degrees, as you know, hold higher value than most other degrees. Okay, we have a lot of undergraduate and postgraduate programs. To start off with the undergraduate programs, we've got the BSc in computer science. We've got a software engineering program. Then we have management programs with different pathways, or you can say different specializations, like a BSc management with a specialization in entrepreneurship, finance, project management, marketing, HR. So these are hybrid programs, you can say, wherein the student in the first semester will learn the ethics of management and the details of it, and then he goes to his specialization, which might be in any one of this field. And if you also notice, we're covering almost all the aspects of here, like finance is covered, project management is there, marketing is there, HR also is there. Okay. Then we have the BSc in International Business Management, and we have another wonderful program that's the BSc in Data Science, AI, and Digital Businesses. So the last program also is a very hybrid program wherein we're covering three topics, and the reason why we're doing that is because all these go hand in glove, like data science, AI, and digital businesses. Okay. Coming to the postgraduate degrees, we've got the M Engineering in Computer Science. Then again, we've got hybrid programs wherein management is there, and then a specialization is there. So we've got the MSc in Business Management, where the student can specialize in cybersecurity, or finance, or project management, or marketing, or HR. We've got the MSc IBM, that's International Business Management. And again, we've got the MSc in Data Science, AI, and Digital Businesses. We also got a program that's called MSc in Leadership for Digital Transformation. And this program is seeing a lot of traction of late because all multinational companies are looking for this degree right now. Okay. And our flagship program is the Global MBA. And why I say flagship is because it has got the AMBA accreditation. So the AMBA accreditation itself speaks volumes because it's very tough to get this accreditation. In Germany, there are only 6 colleges that have got the AMBA accreditation. It's one of the very high accreditations and a very prestigious accreditation that a college can get. And in the entire globe, across the entire globe also, there are less than 2% colleges who got the AMBA accreditation. So the AMBA accreditation itself speaks volumes about our campus, about the mode of delivery of education, about the faculty, about the students studying with us. So it's a very, very prestigious accreditation, the AMBA one. And they do random audits every quarter, you can say, just random without us knowing also. And we have to actually maintain a very high standard to have this accreditation. Okay, so these are the programs that we offer. Let's go to the details of these programs. When I say details, it is the entry requirements, the intakes. Okay, just give me a second. I'll share my screen again. Just a second, please. Yeah. Okay. So if you have any questions in between, please feel free to interrupt. This is a learning session, so let's get all questions answered. It will help all of us on the call. Okay. So coming to the requirements, and when I say requirements, it's not only entry requirements. There are a lot of other requirements also that we need to fulfill. Okay. So let's start with the bachelor programs. So all our bachelor programs are of 3 years duration, and a student can join us directly after the 12th. So like a lot of universities in Germany ask for 13 years of studies, wherein after 12th, a student has to do a student colleague or another bridging program, wherein he's spending one entire year plus an additional fee also, just to qualify to study in Germany. But over here with us, even though we are a state accredited and state recognized university, we do accept students directly after 12th. Okay, and the duration of the program, like I mentioned, is 3 years. We've got intakes all around the year. That's almost every quarter. Jan, April, July, and September. So we've got 4 intakes around the year. So in case even if a student has to defer, it's not to he doesn't have to wait for a long time to start his program again. And another advantage is we've got a hybrid mode of studies. It's called high flex teaching. So when I say high flex teaching, it is online and offline both. So offline, as we know, it is on campus, and online are only live lectures. So when the campus studies start, that is when the online mode also starts. Okay, so the student does not have to actually go through recorded sessions and all, which becomes very boring. These are actually live lectures which happen live in the class when the classes are going on. And the classes also, you won't believe me, but they're called Microsoft Teams physical classrooms. So the technology used is directly by Microsoft Teams, and it's very lucrative because even if a student is studying online, he will feel that he's sitting in the class among his peers and the professor. It's a very interactive session wherein the student can actually interact in everything what's going on. He can raise his hand, ask questions, he can participate in the breakout sessions. It's a very, very lively this thing. So he'll actually feel that he's in the class. And this helps us, when there's a slight delay in the visa or the APS, and especially for bachelor students, their program is going to be of 3 years. So they can afford to study for at least 6 months online also. It doesn't make a difference. In fact, they're going to save on time and living cost also both. Like when they go to Germany, on an average, they spend around 7 to 800 euros per month as living cost. But if they start online, they're saving on precious time plus that living cost also for those months. So it's a very interactive, it's a very beneficial program that we've done for our students. The campus is in Potsdam, where all our academic programs are conducted. And Potsdam is just about 25 minutes away from Berlin, exactly 25 to 26 minutes away. It's not too far. I know most of the students will come and say, I want to go to Berlin. But the reason behind this is because they've only heard about Berlin. They don't know about other beautiful places in Germany. So if anyone asks you about why Potsdam, you can just Google Potsdam and you show them the images that pop up, and I'm sure they'll fall in love with the place. It's a very, very beautiful place. It's a very, what do you say, heritage culture. There are about 180,000 people living over there, out of which 40,000 are students. So it's a very student-centric location also. Okay, the next is English proficiency. So since all our programs are taught in English, we do need English proficiency. So we accept all English proficiencies, IELTS, TOEFL, PT, Duolingo, everything. Okay, so for IELTS, we require a band of 6.0, nothing less than 5.5. That's for direct entry. If a student wants to take foundation, you can also submit an application which has 5.5 band overall with nothing less than 5.0. Okay, so for direct entry, 6.0 is mandatory, and for foundation, 5.5 is mandatory. And the similar scores in IELTS, in TOEFL, PT, and Duolingo are also accepted. Like in TOEFL, it is overall 80. In Duolingo, it is overall 1045. In PT, it is overall 50. Okay. And another added USP that we have is that we also have a passport English test. Okay, so GISMA is a registered entity with passport English test. The awarding bodies for IELTS and passport English test are the same. CREF, the same body awards the passport English test also. Okay, the passport English test is a very short test. It hardly takes about 30 to 40 minutes. It's just about multiple choice questions. So, like, you know,
Yeah.
there'll be fill in the blank.
Sorry to interrupt
Yes,
regarding
hi,
this.
Amar.
Yeah. Hi. See, actually, I mean, if the student is not having IELTS or TOEFL or Dillinger, so a student can appear for this test by the college side, right? That's what you mean to
Yes, you
say.
are right, Amar. Yes. Yes. I was just want to come to that point only. Yes.
Okay. Fine. Carry on. Yes.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah. So the passport English test, GISMA is registered with passport English test, and we have the rights to conduct this test online. And when I say online, it is a proctored test. So the student has to keep his camera and mic on, and then the test is conducted. And no one else should be in the room because we're very strict in terms of quality. But the test is very, very simple. Like it's only multiple choice questions and mostly fill in the blanks. I can share a link with Himali and the team at Join in Campus, and they can share some sample questions with you. It's a very, very simple test, trust me on this. And the most beautiful part, like Amar just also mentioned, even if a student doesn't have IELTS or TOEFL, he can directly do this test and get admissions. And another advantage is that he can apply for a visa also based on this TRF. Okay, I know that you all will not believe me on this, but trust me, I can show you some documents also in this, wherein students have applied for a visa and they have successfully got it. So the TRF that we give you will be, the scores will be in bands, like it will be 5 band, 6 band, 7 band, whatever band the student achieves. Okay. And if you see the visa checklist where the English point is mentioned, it explicitly starts, and that is mentioned in bold over there. Where the university does not mention or does not confirm, then the student is required to provide an IELTS or a TOEFL, right? So over here, when the student gives our passport English test on his enrollment letter, that's the final admission letter, we will mention that GISMA accepts IELTS, TOEFL, Duolingo, etc., etc. And we also do our own internal test, which is called the passport English test, to judge the English capability of the student. So this is mentioned on the enrollment letter, due to which the embassy is accepting this TRF also. So when a student wants to go for IELTS, he has to pay around 14 to 15,000 rupees. Plus, he has to wait for approximately like 15 days or 20 days for his date to come. Plus, IELTS is more tedious, wherein he has to study. I'm sorry, he has to practice about reading, writing, listening, everything, right? And speaking. Over here, there's nothing as such. Passport English test that we conduct is just knowledge based, where it is more of decision making questions and more of English grammatical questions. That's it. So this is a very, very good advantage we have for our students, wherein they're going to save on time, effort, and money, all three. Instead of doing an IELTS, you can do this and proceed further with your admissions and the visa process also. Okay, any questions over here? Nope. Okay. Let me skip.
Is it
Yeah.
applicable for PG diploma, PG also, masters?
Yes, Amar. So since we've registered for passport English test, and this is applicable uh, for PG and UG both, even for the MBA, in
Okay.
fact.
Okay. Thank you. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. Okay. So let's skip the fee part. I will come back to the fee part because the deposits are, sorry, that I'll have to explain. From your admission, you need to pay a minimum 3,000 euros. When it comes to academic eligibility, we only need 50% marks in the past academics. That's the 12th. Okay. It's very bare minimum. The reason why we've kept it at 50% is because the passing marks in Germany are 50%. So we've kept our expectation also according to the German standards. Okay. A gap of 2 years is important. Okay. If there's a higher gap, then for visas also you might face problems. There's no work experience required. There's no application fee. And another good part is that any student from any background, academic background, can join us for any of our program. Like even if we have a student. Yeah, sorry.
Yeah, I have a small doubt. For example, if the student is having a gap of 1 or 1.5 year regarding the health issues or some personal problems, where he can submit all the documents regarding to that. Is that okay? Like, or it will be any problem regarding that part?
So no. If someone has a health issue and you need any support, during the application process, there is a option that comes out. There is a separate like in the process itself, there is an option where you can select if the student has any special needs. In short, if
Okay.
the student has any disabilities, and then over there you can mention that you can attach the the required documentations you have, and accordingly,
Okay.
my team will also arrange for someone in specific at the campus to help him. Like if the student is very studious, but he is facing problems in writing, so during
Okay.
the exam times and all, they will help him with a writer, for example, that way. So we do have this
Oh,
option also in our application process.
okay. Okay. Thank you.
Yes. Okay. Yeah. So I was saying that any academic background student can join us for any of our programs. Like even if you have someone who's done arts and not taken maths in the past, he can still come for the computer science. He can still come for the finance. He can still go for the project management. He can still go for the engineering program also. We will not stop any student. In fact, we will help him with that. Okay. So this is another added advantage because a lot of colleges want you to have maths or something as your basis to come and study over there, like in a particular program. But over here at GISMA, we don't judge students on that. Okay. Since we're a state registered university, we do have an entrance test or an interview, or you can say the entrance test is optional, but the interview is mandatory. Okay. And the reason why we're doing this or why the interview is mandatory is because we have another massive USP. That is because we've got the waiver for test days. GISMA is the only private institution in Germany to have a waiver for test days. In fact, among private and public universities, there are only two universities. One is a public university and one is GISMA, a private university, who have got a waiver for test AS. Okay, so this waiver is for test AS, not for APS. Okay, because the APS is a process which the German government has implemented, right? So they want us to come through that process. Bypassing the process doesn't make sense. Okay, so that's why, and APS will what do you say, safeguard us only. So it safeguards the agency, it safeguards the university, and most importantly, it safeguards the students themselves. Like we see in what issues are happening across the globe. In Canada itself, they're going to deport about 500 to 700 students. Now we don't know whether the students' fault or the agent's fault or whose fault it is. But if there was such a check in place wherein everything is being verified, this would not have happened only in the first place. So APS, I know it's a little pain point right now because it's a new process and they're still what do you say, optimizing it. But I have seen that most of my students are getting APS within 2.5 months. We have a lot of data and we've seen the average time is 2.5 months. Okay, so let's come to APS later. Let's start with let me brief you on the entrance test and the interview
One
first.
second. One second. I have another doubt also. Like
Yes.
as I look into the German applications, like we always hear that like the student should have certification in the German language. So is for the undergraduate is there any level like they have to go for such levels like uh, certifications for they should learn German language? Is it mandatory?
No, no, Amar, no. Only English proficiency is mandatory, wherein IELTS, TOEFL, PT, or even our English test will do for the visa submission. German language certification is not required at all. If they have it, it's an added advantage. They can put it over there, but it's not mandatory at all.
Okay. Thank you.
Okay. Okay. So coming to this column over here, where I mentioned about the entrance test and interview. So for an entrance test, it is optional. Okay. So as soon as the application is submitted, the first email that goes out to a student is called as confirmation of registration. There'll be a document COR, confirmation of registration is nothing but COR. So in that email, there'll be a document called a COR in which there'll be two options. Option A, I want to give the test. Option B, no, sorry, option A, I don't want to give the test. And option B, I want to give the test. Okay. So if the student selects option A, we will proceed ahead. We'll send him the conditional offer and he will get the foundation program attached to his 3-year degree. The foundation program is of 6 months, but there is no additional cost for it. Okay. So if he selects, he doesn't want to give the test, he just gets a foundation program, which is of 6 months, and there's no additional cost at all for it. And if a student is selecting foundation, we do accept English proficiencies at 5.5 level also. Okay, so this is a really good option that we have because see, our proctor test is divided into 3 parts. One is English, that's the MCQ, which I just explained before this. Second is maths, which is very tricky. And third is essay writing. So English is easy, essay writing is easy. Maths is a little tricky because there are complex, not complex, but you can say there are huge calculations and the student cannot use a calculator. So even though the test might be comparatively easy, students do get frustrated and then they start selecting random answers because even the maths is an MCQ, there are multiple choice answers over there. And what happens is 1-2 questions, the student will dedicatedly calculate, and then after he'll just start selecting anything, ABCD wo karta hai. And because of this, they tend to fail. If the student fails, then we'll have to revoke the offer. Because if he fails, then he himself is proving that he is not eligible for the course, right? So what I normally do is I suggest students to go for the foundation. You get extra time in the country. In that time, you can learn the language also. We do provide a free A1 certification to all students. And plus, there's no added cost for this foundation program. So why not? So if he selects option A, he will directly go ahead. He'll get foundation and the offer letter will be sent to the student. Okay. If he selects option B, then they will send him the slots for the entrance test. He has to revert to it. And then they will send him the invite to the test. Okay. So for example, he selects option B. My testing team will get this email. They will send him 3 to 4 slots of the near dates. And then he replies with one of the date, and then they will help him with the test. Okay, so these are two things. So without you replying to this COR email, the application will not proceed further, because we need to know how the student wants to proceed further, right? So this is very, very important. And this mail will come within a day's time. Like today, if your application is submitted in the morning, by today evening or latest by tomorrow, you should get this email. So we are very fast. Offers are normally given within 48 hours or maximum 72 hours. I would say on an average, I have seen the turnaround time is less than 24 hours nowadays. Okay, so this is a very important point because this is where your application process starts. The first thing that comes is a COR, confirmation of registration. You have to tell the student to please reply to the email, attach the PDF in the revert, and highlight the option that he wants to go ahead with. So if you open any PDF now, you can directly use the highlight and highlight the option and save the PDF. And then attach it to that email and revert to my admission team. That's it. It will hardly take about 10 seconds. But if it doesn't do this, the offer will get stuck. Okay, so any questions on the entrance test or this process that I just told you about? Okay, I'll take that as a no. Yeah, thanks, Amali. Okay, so the next is interview. Interview is mandatory for all students because, see, as per the German state law, they want us to check the aptitude of every student. So since we've given the entrance test as an option, that's why interview is put as mandatory. And plus, for the test case waiver, for the test case waiver, we actually have been in collaboration with the embassy or the ministry, you can say directly. And they have given us a very big document. It's called a protocol document that we need to fill a lot of details and give it to them. So that's the reason why we take an interview, because we need those details and then we fill the document accordingly once the students' details are sent to the ministry. Okay.
Yeah, I have a small confusion regarding this thing, admission interview or entrance test. The student has been, the student, as soon as the student arrives in Germany, he has to go for the foundation program, or like what exactly, how this program really helps for the student for undergraduate and as well as a postgraduate also. Is it mandatory that they have to go for the foundation program, something like that, if they don't have English test or something like PT or something like that?
So see, for the entrance test is only for bachelor students.
Okay.
So if he doesn't want to give the entrance test, only bachelor students have foundation. Foundation will start. Yeah, foundation will start with before his thing. So if he's going for an October intake right now, so in October 1st, the foundation will start. And it's not necessary that he has to be in Germany to start it. He can start it online from the parent country also, because we have a hybrid mode of studies.
Okay, so this one is if the student is not having English entry requirements, right?
So yes, English entry requirements are there.
That is compulsory. After that only is important. Yeah, after that only, if what exactly is this academic this thing, like admission interview? It is for admission interview, for admission process, or what exactly? I could not able to get
it. It is for admission interview. You are right. It is for admission interview.
Okay, if the student wants to get the admission, then he has to go through this interview. It is a mandatory,
Yeah.
right?
Yes. Yes.
Okay.
So yeah, because even if you have submitted all the documents and if the student also says that, okay, I don't want to go for the entrance test, I want to go for the foundation, she will get a conditional offer with at least interview. This is only mandatory for Indian students because Indian students have
Yeah.
test here, so that's why. Okay, and the
Though
interview
the
is
student is
comparative.
having the PTE and a PTE or TOEFL, even though the student is having PTE or TOEFL, the student has to go for the interview test, right?
Yes, he has
College
to go for the
interview.
interview. Yes. Yes.
Okay, got it. Okay, fine.
Yeah, but the interview now is a very, very simple interview. It's just a conversation that the professor has with the student. Basic questions which I can guide you are, it will start with tell me something about yourself. So the student knows to know his SOP in and out. Then
Yes,
they'll ask him,
understood.
okay, what is your previous qualification? So he needs to know what he did in the past. They might ask him
Okay.
also, okay, what module did you like when you were studying in your previous qualification?
Mm.
Then they might ask him, why do you want to come to Germany? Why do you want to study at GISMA? If he's taking the data science program, then they might ask him, okay, what made you opt for the data science? Like, what do you think? Why do you take the data science? What modules would you think will help you in your future? What type of job do you think you will get after doing the data science program? So these are just the basic questions.
Okay, fine.
Okay. So SOP is very important. He needs to know in and out of his SOP. He needs to know in and out of his past academics and the future studies that he wants to do. And he needs to know what he'll do after completing his studies. Like, for example, what job he wants, which industry he's looking forward to, which companies he knows that offer this job. So these are just, see, the more the student expresses himself, the faster the interview gets over. Like if the first question, like if the first question itself is tell me something about yourself. And the student starts like, hi, hello, sir, my name is so-and-so, so-and-so. I'm really excited to speak with you. I'm really looking forward to coming at GISMA and studying in Germany because I know that these degrees hold a lot of value and I've heard a lot about GISMA. And he tells a little bit of his past academics. And then he also comes saying that, okay, I want to do this program with you because I really love the modules that you teach. And I'm sure I'm looking forward to working in Google and this will really help me out. Ho gaya khatam. The interviewer doesn't know what question to ask now next because he's covered everything in this.
Understood.
Yeah. So then so it all depends on how it starts and how much clarity the student gives the interviewer.
Okay.
Like I've actually seen interviews getting over in like I'm not a part of it, but I know I see the comments and all that the professors give. I've seen interviews getting over in 2.5, 3 minutes also. So it's this professor only wants to know whether the student can understand and communicate in English and whether he's actually interested in studying with us or no. There's two things, bus.
Okay, fine.
Yeah, and you'll be surprised, our interview pass rate is actually 98.8%. So almost every student is passing the interview. Okay. So English requirement is a must. That's IELTS, TOEFL, PT, Duolingo, everything is accepted. If not, we do have our own English test also. It's called a password English test. If you Google online, search for password English test and only see the knowledge section. So in the writing section, there is knowledge and there is essay writing. So don't see the essay writing, see only the knowledge section. You'll get an idea of what is asked of you. It's mostly fill in the blank type questions. And there are multiple options also given below. Okay. When it comes to the application, the first email that gets shooted out to the student is a COR, confirmation of registration. Without reverting to this email, the application will not proceed further. The student will get this email within 24 hours. He needs to reply to all. He needs to do reply to all, attach the document over there and highlight the proper option that he wants. Option A is he wants to go with foundation. Option B is he wants to do the entrance test. Once that's done, they will send him the condition offer letters and interview will be a part of it, of the condition. In that same email where he gets a conditional offer, in the body of the email, there'll be a link to book the interview. He clicks on the link, a calendar will open, you will get very, very near dates. Like even tomorrow's date will be available. It's a very, very seamless process that we've incorporated. Okay, the student does the interview. Within 48 hours, we get the results from the professor. And once that's done, we will share the updated offer letters with the student. Okay, that's the end-to-end process from application till unconditional. Now, another main part is the test AS waiver. So, like I said, GISMA is the only private university, and this is a massive USP that we have. I know that there are institutions that do not require APS, but you also know that without APS, appointments are not available because without APS appointments are direct at the embassy, and it's a very rare chance that a student gets an appointment through over there. So So APS is very important because once you get APS, then within a couple of hours, you'll get the visa appointment. Okay. So test AS waiver. So once you go through the entire application process and the student gets his unconditional offer, okay, then you need to remit either like the full fee to get a higher discount, or you need to remit at least 3,000 to block his admission. Once these two things are done, that is his unconditional offer is out and his fee reflects on my system, then what happens is every week on a Thursday, my academic head, that's the VP of academics, Professor Stefan Stein, and my admission head. These two people get involved in this process because these documents are now sent to the ministry directly. What they do is they will fetch all the documents of this undergraduate student. They will go through it properly. They will read the SOP. So your SOP has to be really strong, and they will fill the protocol sheet, which I told you about, and they send it directly to the ministry in Germany. Okay. The ministry in Germany will verify all the documents, they'll go through it, and they send it to the APS team in Delhi. Then the APS team also again verifies it and they create a APS token number. This token number is then sent to the ministry, who sends it back again to GISMA, and we will mention this token number on the student's enrollment letter. Okay, so for bachelor students, you should not initiate the APS process. We will initiate the APS process by creating this token number first for him. So the token number, once it's created, it indicates two things. First, it indicates that the student has got a waiver for test AS. And second, it also indicates that all these documents have already been processed through the embassy, through the ministry to APS. So once we get the APS token number, it takes about 15 days, like 2 weeks. Then we process and we will give you the enrollment letter of the student. Once you get the enrollment letter, that's when you apply for APS. Okay. In the test AS section, you can mention the APS token number. It starts with N for Nagpur, and fill in all the other required fields like his academic details, his personal details, pay the fee, submit it over there. And when you're couriering the documents to APS, please put a copy of our enrollment letter also in there and put it on top, because once APS opens a courier, they will see the GISMA enrollment letter. They will see his APS token number. So they will already know that he's got a waiver for test AS, and they will also know that these documents are verified already by the embassy. So for these students, APS also is going to come very fast. So this is one massive USP we have for undergraduate students, wherein we are starting the APS process by giving him a test AS waiver. And plus, since the documents are already shared in the embassy and everywhere else, the verification process will be very fast, and APS certificates also will be received very quickly for these students. Okay, any questions so far with this test AS and APS process? Yes, hi, Deshri. I can't hear you. Okay, sorry. Any questions?
No, I think Dillan, everything is clear. Maybe she had muted by mistake.
Okay, because this is a very, very massive USP that we've got, and no other college has got this right now. And
Yes.
trust me, they're getting 3 times the number of UG applications that we get for PG right now. Like till a month back, we used to hardly get UG applications, but as soon as we launched this, it spread like wildfire, and we're getting thrice the amount of UG applications right now. So the process, again, let me reiterate, you don't have to start APS for the student until he gets his enrollment letter. You submit his application, we go through the entire process, he gets his unconditional, he pays the fee, and then we start the APS process. We will give you his enrollment letter after 15 days, which will have the APS token number. Once you get the enrollment letter, then you start the APS process, you pay the fee of 18,000. And when you are submitting the documents to APS, it is mandatory that you have to put our enrollment letter over there. So APS knows that, okay, the token number is already created, and they will process it faster. Okay, so this is about our UG courses. And coming to the pricing point, that's the fee. So if you see, this is for undergraduate, the last 2 rows over here. If you see, mainly the fee is 13,125 per year, but we have a lot of discounts. And another good thing is that the fee for foundation or no foundation is the same. So indirectly, we give the foundation year for free. Okay, we have discounts from 15% till 33%, wherein if the student wants to go for a payment plan, So then he just deposits 3,000 now to confirm his seat, and he gets a 15% discount, and the rest of the amount he can pay in installments once his intake starts. The best option is the 30%. 30% is where he deposits 3,000 euros right now, and he can deposit the rest of the amount. So for example, for the 30%, the rest of the amount will be 6,188. The rest 6,188 he can deposit anytime later, even 3 months after his intake starts. But he has to deposit this in one transaction. Okay, and then he's eligible for a 30% discount also. So we have discounts from 15, 25, 30, and 33. To be eligible for the 33%, he needs to make the entire fee payment of 8,794 in one transaction. Okay, so the fee is actually 13,125. After the 33%, he gets the fee reduces to 8,794. After 30%, it reduces 9,188. That's it. Very, very lucrative, not too expensive for students also. I normally prefer pushing for the 30% because for a student to accumulate and remit 8,794 is about 8 lakhs. It gets tough for the student. But to remit 3,000 euros is easy. So at least you know that the student is hooked to you. They will not abscond afterwards. And 30% also is a massive discount that we're offering. Okay. So I have tried and tested both these models. The 30% works faster for us because if you tell the student to deposit 3,000 euros, if you tell him that the seats are getting full, please block your admission fast. Depositing 3,000 euros is easier than depositing 8,794 euros. Any questions on the pricing? Any confusion?
Yes, like for example, if the tuition fees is like around 13,500, if the student deposits 3,000 euros initially, so after once the confirmation gets, the student has to pay the remaining amount. Then only he is eligible for 30% discount, right? That's what you meant to say.
Yes, he has to pay the remaining 6,188 in one transaction. Then he gets 30%.
Okay, fine.
Yeah. Because here a lot of students, what they do is they will block this, they will pay 3,000 now. And then might be he's going for an education loan. So when he gets his loan, then he'll pay the remaining 6,188. Or might be then I can do it. So he can do that also. But he should do it before the visa processes. Okay, because see, for a
before
visa process,
he has to pay the complete fees.
Yes. So so that's what. So now we can pay 3,000. Don't block a big amount. Pay 3,000 euros, which is about 2.5 lakh rupees. Just a second, sorry. Yeah. So pay 3,000, which is about 2.5 lakh rupees. Take a time, apply for everything, visa, sorry, for APS and all that. Once you get your APS certificate, then pay the remaining 6,000 euros and go for your visa. Because if you give a full fee payment receipt, then it becomes the visa success rate is higher.
Okay, got it. Okay. Understood. Thank you.
Okay. So even though we have multiple discounts, I would recommend, please, I have actually tried and tested it on field in the market, and the 30% really works good. Because 3,000 is not a very big amount for students who are planning to and aspiring to study abroad. But if you say 8 lakh, 9 lakh rupees, then they will think twice. So this is what works actually in the market. Okay. And just to reiterate, the fees with foundation or without foundation are the same. Okay, it's both the same. If you see the total fee also is the same. 39,375 for 3 years. So okay, any questions for our bachelor programs? The requirements, the intakes, the fee structure, the English requirement, academic requirement, everything is the same. Any questions, team? Anything, please let me know. If not, let's move to the master's program. Okay, so I'll take that as a no. Let's move to the master programs. So like I mentioned, we've got a lot of master programs. Again, the requirements are the same for all our master programs. When it comes to masters, we do have 2 tenures. We have a 1-year program and we have a 2-year program also. Okay. For a 1-year program, the student has to be eligible. So he has to either have a 4-year bachelor degree or he needs to have a 3-year degree with 2 years of full-time work experience. And when we say full-time work experience, this experience has to be after he has completed his degree. Okay. We are doing this because to study a 1-year degree, the student has to have a certain number of ECTS points called as credit ratings. So he accumulates that only if he has a 4-year degree, that is 16 years of education, or he has a 3-year degree with 2 years of full-time experience. If not, if the student has a normal bachelor degree of 3 years with no experience, he will have to go for the 2 years degree with us. Okay. Again, intakes are all around the year. Campus is Potsdam. It's very, very beautiful. The IELTS requirement is the same as the bachelor's, wherein they require overall 6.0 and nothing less, and no band should be less than 5.5. Okay. And again, we do have a password English test, which is very, very, very easy. I will share the link with Himali and the Join in Campus team after this call, and she can circulate it with you all. It's a very, very simple test. Everybody will be able to clear that test. Okay. The fees, let's come to the fees a little later, just about 2 minutes later. Again, the deposit amount, the minimum amount to block your admission is 3,000 euros. Academic requirement is minimum 50% in his previous academics. So if the student has done bachelor's, he needs 50% minimum in bachelor's. If the student has done a master's, then he needs minimum 50% in master's. Okay. So be careful of this, please, because you might have students which have got 60% in bachelor's, but then in master they might have got 48%. So if you attach the master's details, then the application will get rejected because it's minimum 50% we require in his highest academic qualification. No work experience required, no application fee. Again, another good point is any academic background student can join us for any program. Okay. But over here, there's a slight twist over here because this is a master's program, right? This is just a short 1 year or 2 year program. So over here, what happens, like, for example, say if a art student wants to go for data science program, we know that a bachelor of art students will not be able to cope up with data science. We know that the academics are totally different. So for these students, we'll offer a pre-master's program. Okay. The pre-master's is a 6 months program. It will start. Just a second. Excuse me. Sorry about that. Yeah. So we're talking about pre-masters. So the pre-masters is a 6 months program which starts before the masters. So for example, if an art student is applying for data science, he will get pre-masters. And if his intake stays in October, so in October, the pre-masters will start. It will go on for 6 months. Once he completes that, then his actual master's program will start. Okay. So here again, we do not deny any student from applying. Like irrespective is from arts, hospitality, fine arts, any other background also, he can apply for any of the courses over here. If he's not from the relevant background, he will get a pre-masters. It has an additional fee of about 5,500 euros, but then the discounts also apply on that. So if the student is paying his full fee, he gets a 33% discount. If he's paying 3,000 and the rest later, then he gets a 30% discount. So the fee structure, the discount structure is the same for PG also. Okay. For masters, we do not have any work experience not required. Application fee is not there. There is no interview or internship, nothing. It's just that we need the proof of English. So proof of English is IELTS, TOEFL, TT, Duolingo, or our internal entrance test. And our internal entrance test does not have any additional cost to it. You just send me an email. The student just sends me an email, or the team intimates me, okay, we need to conduct the English test. Or the student can also write to my testing team. It's testing@gisma.com. Only the student can write to them. Okay. So if the student writes to them, they will revert back with the slot availability. Once the student confirms the slot, they will send the invite link and the test is conducted. Very simple.
Oh yeah, yeah. I have a small doubt. I have a small doubt regarding this test. See, the student, you mean to say is if the student is not having IELTS, TOEFL, or Dillinger, the student can directly go for college internal test, right? Without any cost, fee cost, entrance exam cost, right?
Yes, you're right.
So, which is not applicable for undergraduate, the same thing. They should have either IELTS, TOEFL.
Also.
Okay, okay. And moreover, this pre-foundation, this program for master's program, like you said that if the student is irrelevant to his educational background and if he's planning for master's in computer science or something like that, any technical programs, so he has to go for 6 months pre-foundation program. So
That's for masters, only masters, yes.
yeah, that is for masters. And
Yes.
what about for MBA? If the student is planning for MBA, does he should have compulsory 2 years of work experience or global MBA? Like we have a program like in masters in global MBA, right? So the
Yes, yes,
experience
yes.
is required or it's not mandatory?
So for our global MBA, we require a minimum of 3 years of work experience for the student to be eligible.
Okay, this is applicable only for a technical programs, right? If the student is
We
irrelevant
have,
to
so for masters, work
science.
experience is not required. For global MBA, we
Okay,
have only one MBA, that's a global MBA. And that's
okay,
accredited by APA, so it's a very valuable MBA. And we require a
understood.
minimum of
Yeah.
3 years work experience. Any academic background
Okay,
student can go for the global MBA. There's no restrictions on that.
unless until he have 3 years of work experience.
Yes, you're right.
Okay, okay, fine then. Thank you.
Okay. So we've done with the
Yes.
pre-masters, we've done with the masters. So masters also, again, all our requirements are the same for all the programs. Okay. When it comes to the fee of a master's program, this is the fee for a 1-year program. The 1-year program fee is 15,500. After 33% discount, it drops to 10,385. After 30% discount, it drops to 10,850. Very, very nominal. For the 2-year program, the fee is 11,575 per year. After 33% discount, the fee drops to only 7,755 euros per year. And after 30%, it drops to 8,103 per year. Okay. So this is the fee structure for a master's. This is a 1 year, 1.5 year, and 2 years. So 1.5 year is for students who have taken the 1-year program and have got a pre-master. So then it becomes 1.5 year program. Okay. Now coming to the last program or our main flagship program, which we say, the global MBA. The global MBA is a flagship program because it is accredited by. This is second. Yeah, it is accredited by AMBA. Okay, AMBA. I'm sure everybody knows AMBA is nothing but Association of MBAs. This is a very, very prestigious accreditation that a college or a university can get. It's a very, very highly accredited, highly valued accreditation. Like across the globe, there are less than 2% colleges that have got this accreditation, and there will always be less than 2% colleges. The reason is because AMBA has set a threshold wherein they will give this accreditation to only 288 of the best colleges across the world, and GISMA is one of them. In Germany, there are 6 colleges that have got the AMBA accreditation, and GISMA is again one of them. So it speaks volumes about our college, about the professors, about our students, about the facilities, the infrastructure, everything. Okay. The MBA is a 1-year program. It's only for working professionals. So the student has to have a minimum 3 years of work experience. That's full-time work experience. And when I say full-time, again, let me repeat, it has to be after he has completed his graduation. So so full-time work experience to be eligible over here. 3 years full-time work experience. Again, intakes are all around the year: Jan, April, July, and September. Campus is again Potsdam. English requirement is a little bit higher because it's the AMBA accredited degree and the teachings are at a little higher level. So for English, it is overall 6.5 band with no module less than 6. And again, he can still do our internal test also if he's not got this band. So many a time students say we'll get a 5.5 band or a 6 band. We know that 5.5 and 6 band are accepted by the MBC. But it's not accepted for us at our admissions, right? So for these students, what we can do is take the passport entrance test. It's free of cost. Student clears it, goes ahead with the admission, and you have an option then for the embassy for the visa file submission. You can either put the IELTS or you can put our TRF also, or you can put both also. Okay. The fees is 18,000 euros for the MBA, but after the discount, after 33% discount, it drops to 12,060, and after 30% discount, it drops to 12,600. If you see 12,060 is about less than 12 lakh rupees. For an AMBA accredited MBA, this is very, very, very low, in fact. Like AMBA accredited schools and colleges in India are like SPJN, XLRI. There are about 4 IIMs. If a student wants to do an MBA from these institutions, they don't charge less than 10 lakhs or 15 lakhs. It goes up to 30 lakhs also sometimes. So studying in Germany with such a good ROI, wherein the student can work for 20 hours a week, can earn up to 1,000 or 1,500 euros, and still the fees are so less. I think it's a very, very good deal for the student, especially the MBA. And I've seen students getting very handsome packages after completing this. Because see, their past work experience also is there to back them up. Plus, this AMBA accredited degree is there to give them a better future. I've seen students getting packages of 80,000 onwards, 100,000 onwards per annum also. So it's a very nice program. You can what do you say, give your students who have got minimum of 3 years work experience. Because these students who have got ample of experience, they want to upskill, go there and have a better life, get a better job. This is the best program you can offer them. Okay, again, the fee, holding fee deposit for any of our program is minimum 3,000 euros. Minimum academic requirement, he needs 50% in his past academics. 3 years of full-time work experience is mandatory. Any academic background student can join us for the AMBA accredited global MBA. But since this is accredited by AMBA, we do have an interview. Okay. Here the interview is a little different. It's not like the bachelor's interview, because here we have experienced professionals coming for this, right? So here this interview will be more oriented towards his work profile. Okay, like what he is currently working, a little bit of general knowledge, and a little bit of what he wants to do in the future. So that will be more emphasized during the interview. So the student needs to know why he wants to do this course, what he's going to do next, and he needs to explain his current work profile also properly. All the questions will evolve and revolve around this only. Okay. And again, the interview booking link also will be sent in the offer email. So it's a very seamless process. You don't have to like offers from application to unconditional can be done within 3 days. If you have all the documents in place and if there's no interview, within 24 hours, you can get an unconditional for our master's programs. So it's a very, very seamless process that we have at GISMA. Classes, irrespective whichever program, is 12 hours a week. That's about maximum 3 to 4 days. And post-study work visa that a student gets is for 18 months. Okay, so we've covered all the academic requirements of all our programs. So we can open for questions now. So team, any questions?
Yes,
okay, so
I have Dillinger is accepted for master's program, right?
For academic, for our admission requirement, yes. But if you see the visa checklist, then they've only mentioned about IELTS and TOEFL.
Okay, for example, if the student is having the Dillinger and if he goes for college internal test, whatever we are giving, is that okay for the visa process, or again it is compulsory IELTS or TOEFL is not?
No, for the visa process, do not attach the Duolingo because that's not accepted over there. But you can attach our TRF of the passport English test.
Okay, fine.
Yeah, and if you're submitting Duolingo, the student needs to get 105 in every module.
Okay.
Okay, it is overall 105 and minimum 105 both. So it's over 105, but no module should be less than 105. That way it is.
Yeah, understood. Okay. Yeah.
Okay.
Thank you.
You're most welcome, Amar. And thank you, Amar, for asking so many questions. I'm sure everybody in the call has got knowledge with this. Yes.
Thank you so much for your kind information.
So Dilan, Amar will give you now of applications.
I want everybody to ask questions and everybody to do applications. Yes. Okay. So sorry, just a second. I've got another question. It says, can lateral student study masters? Will it be considered? Okay. So yes, we do accept lateral entry, but to be frank with you, it's very rare. I'll tell you why. The reason is because the education system in India is different from the education system in Germany. Even though I say yes, we can accept, but see, when the modules in Germany, if you see the modules, they know more about leadership, business, etc. But over here in India, we don't teach all that. So lateral entry is only accepted when the modules overlap. Like if the student has already learned that same thing earlier, then we'll not teach him again, and then we can give him a lateral entry to the next year. But this very rarely happens. I have processed more than 20 cases, I think, ahead. But the academic team always comes back saying that, okay, these are all modules. These are the modules that the student studied. They are not matching. We cannot give lateral entry. So I would recommend, do not promise students anything. We can take this on a case-by-case basis, and we can go ahead with the admission. Okay, Trupti has asked if a student has 48 in his 12th grade, is he eligible? I'm sorry, Trupti, the minimum requirement for any program, be it bachelor's, master's or MBA, is a minimum 50%. Exact 50.0 also will do, but 49.9 doesn't do. Okay.
Can you repeat about
Anything-
deadlines and that deposit part once again?
Yeah, and one more very important question I need to tell you all, one more very important information, sorry, is that for masters, there is no gap. Matlab, in the sense, there's no age limit, there's no gap limit. Even if the student is applying after 20 years, he is most welcome. I myself have got visas for students who, I can say students because they're studying with us, but the candidate was actually, one was 53 years, or the other one was 55 years. They were both senior managers in Siemens, and they had visited Germany so many times that they wanted to go there. So they got visas seamlessly, and they're studying with us also. In the last July intake they started. So for masters, there's no issue. For MBA also, there's no issue. Only for bachelor's you'll have to take care because the embassy themselves don't want a gap of more than 2 years. Okay. The intake, so see, we have intakes all around the year, but now you know that for our students, APS is important, right? And it's mandatory in short. And down the line, it's going to get mandatory for everybody. So considering the timeline required, you will need to plan and submit your application accordingly. Okay. So say APS and visa, you can say it takes about 2 and 2, say 4 months on a higher side. So at least 4 months before the intake start, you should put in your application. And if the student is willing to start online, especially for bachelor students, then you can also apply 1 month before. Also, we do not mind, because then what happens is we can, for us to give you the offer, it hardly takes 24 hours. Once you resolve the conditions within the next 24 hours, you'll get the unconditional also. And for us, it becomes easier to give you the enrollment letter in a very timely manner. But it all depends on the student now. If he wants to start online, you can submit the application late. But if he want to have a good experience, he wants to go through it smoothly, then submit the application at least 4 months before the intake started is what I would recommend. Okay, I have got another question which asks, are backlogs accepted for masters? Okay, so see, for us, we only need the final degree and we need transcripts or mark sheets of all the semesters. So even if the student had backlogs in the past and has cleared them now, irrespective whatever number of backlogs were there, we do not consider all that. We just see that, okay, the student has finally passed, he's given us his degree, and we need all the transcripts. That's it. If you're giving us a provisional degree, it has to be less than 1 year old. And if you're giving us a provisional degree, we need a consolidated transcript with it. Okay, so these were some things I wanted to mention. Any more questions, team? Himali, anything you think I might have missed out?
No,
I mean, this is regarding the backlogs. Sorry, backlogs. Is there any specific thing like the student should not cross this many backlogs in the bachelor's degree?
No, nothing as such. So we only want the final certificate and we want all the transcripts. Irrespective of how many of our backlogs he had in the past, it doesn't matter with us.
Okay, fine. Okay.
Okay, so I've covered the eligibility, covered the intakes, I've covered English, I've covered test AS, I've covered APS, I've covered MBA. Okay, I think most of the details I've covered. Anybody has any questions besides this? Anything out of the blue, anything not related to GISMA also will do.
You had covered the point about the scholarships, the deposits and all. And yeah, main thing is about IELTS, APS. So I think each and every main points are covered most probably.
Yes. And team, trust me, bachelors, see, these students have been suffering from the last 3 years. Like during COVID, there were no appointments. After COVID, when they decided to open appointments, then they put a test AS mandatory for them. And test AS now dates are not available. Like now also the student has to block a test AS date. He will get it only in the middle of November, which is like 4 months of waste. Our year with us, within the 4 months, he will get his visa also. Like for us to process the application, hardly in a week, he'll get his unconditional. Then it takes us 2 weeks to get his token number once the payment is done. Once the token number comes, you apply for APS. I can tell you within 6 weeks to 8 weeks, he will get his APS. This is what confirmation we have got from the ministry directly. So this is something that is spreading like wildfire in the market. Please take advantage of this. And as you know, like bachelors is like a gold mine for us. There are a lot of bachelor students who want to go abroad, but we actually are scared to onboard the students because there's no definite time for the process, because it takes ages and ages for this for a bachelor student to get a visa. But now with us in GISMA, we've reduced the timeline straight away to 4 months. Within 4 months, after he makes the payment, within 4 months he should get his visa. Okay. Yes, Trupti, a student will get direct admission to bachelor's after the 12th standard. So once he completes his 12th, he needs to have minimum 50%, and then he can apply for a bachelor's directly at GISMA. Okay, any more questions?
Dilan, any age limit for bachelors?
Age limit, like I said, if the gap is less than 2 years, it's more favorable. If it's more than 2 years, for admissions, there's no problem. But for visa, we might face a problem.
Okay, fine. Yeah, rest, I think everything
Okay.
is covered.
Yeah, and team, in the chat, I've also shared the link of the English test that we conduct. That's a passport English test. So we only take the knowledge section. So if you go through it, it's a very, very simple test. Bhavna, yes, APS can take more than 4 months also. It depends on case to case, because if the students past college and university does not respond to APS, then the process is stuck. Okay, and for masters also, what we can do is we do have a priority list that we send to APS every time. So any students that you have at GISMA who has made the deposit payment and applied for APS, please share their APS registration document and the APS fee receipt of 18,000. Send us both these documents. We will put them on the priority list, which we send to APS on a weekly basis. And we have seen a lot of traction. We have seen that more than 60% of the students who are stuck with APS have got their APS after this priority list started. So it's working out. It's a little slow, but yes, it's actually at least working. But initially the student didn't know कि कितना time लगेगा. Now at least we know that the student is getting their APS after this priority list started. Okay, so I think I've covered everything that I know. I've shared all my knowledge.
Yes, Dilan. Thank you so much. No, it was really very informative regarding this APS part, the GISMA details. Each and everything is clear now. So I hope we can get good number of applications for sure.
Yeah, I'm sure Himari bachelors so will take off like crazy. Because for me also earlier I used to get, say if I used to get 2 bachelor applications and 20 masters, now it's gone the other way around. Now if I'm getting 20 masters, I get 50 bachelor applications. So it's a lot of difference now.
Right.
With this special listing that we've got the waiver for AS, and only GISMA has this till now. So everybody is submitting applications for bachelors.
Bachelors I for sure will get it. Okay.
Yes, this is a very good opportunity to capitalize on this market.
Yes. Thank you so much, Dilan, for your time, and thank you for this wonderful session.
Thank you so much, Himari, for organizing the session, and thank you so much, team, for joining us and being patient. I'm sure if you have any doubts, queries, I hope I've resolved everything. But if you still have anything that comes up at a later stage, please drop a message to Himali and she will get it clarified.
Sure, Dilan. Thank you so much. Thank you all for joining.
Thanks everybody. Thanks, Himali.
Thank you so much. Yeah.
Thanks, Amar. See you. Bye bye.
Yeah. See you. Take care. Bye.
Bye bye.
Thanks. Bye bye.